like my second ranked, and I've been playing the game for 2 months, so I'm sorry in advance, but I really need help.
Okay, no problem. Usually, anytime someone new to the game, I always say, and they're like doing poorly, I always say them not to like worry too much and just try to play as much as possible because it's League is one that people don't realize. Like when you break it down math wise, I'll like rant here for a second. League has like what 170 champions, and each champion has four abilities. So if you do four times 170, it's over like 5,000 abilities, right? And to be a good League player, you have to know what every single spell in the game does. You have to know like around how much damage it does. You have to know around the range it is, like long range, short range. You have to know like approximately like how long the cooldown is. Is Blitzcrank Q every 20 seconds or every like 10 seconds? You don't want to be like fucking running back and forth when you think it's up, but it's obviously down. So if there's over 5,000 spells and you have to know the cooldowns and range of damage of all of them, then I would say you need at least 1,000 games of League before you're even like able to play the game
Oh,
properly. Because let's say you're going into a game and you're, Diana Flash E ulting in whatever, and you just have no idea what Garen does, or you have no idea what Kog'Maw does. So a lot of times when two people are new and they're struggling, it's not even that you're like a bad player, you don't know what's going. It's just you honestly a lot of times they just don't have enough games. So if you're doing badly, don't worry about it. You just need to play more. I always like to tell people that even though most pro players, or at least high level players, they get high level in their first 2 years of playing. Like it's very very common that someone starts season 9 and then season 11 they're challenger, right? That's like very common. Poom was like that, and a lot of other players like that. For me, it was different. I started season 3, but I was season 3 bronze. I was season 4 and season 5 silver, 2 years silver, silver one, and then I was season 6 and season 7, 2 years stuck in platinum. And then season 8 was my first year hitting diamond, and then season 9 I hit challenger. So for me it was like 5 years of shit: bronze, silver, silver, plat, plat. So a lot of times, League's just a really big learning curve game. The more games you play, the better you get. So TLDR, if you're only 2 months in, then don't worry about it. I'll tell you what you're doing wrong, but don't feel discouraged.
okay, thank you.
Okay, clearing down. Just full clearing. Everything's normal. Bot lane kills their bot lane. Do crab. Anytime you show up to a crab and you don't see the enemy jungler here, it's not guaranteed, but it's usually safe to just throw a danger ping or a caution ping here. Because most junglers, like 90% of junglers in the game, they finish their full clear by 3:30 by when crab spawns, right? So a lot of times if they would clear downwards, then we would see them here. Like they would show up to crab, right? And if they don't show up, that means they probably just cleared upwards. They probably just did this, and now they're probably here right now. So anytime you're at a crab and you don't see the enemy jungle show up, again, it's not guaranteed, but it's usually safe to say, okay, he's probably over here. So it's always nice to ping it because it tells your top laner he might get dove, or it tells your mid laner that he might get ganked, and it tells your bot lane that the enemy jungle's topside, we can play aggressive, we can't get ganked. Because let's say right now Kog'Maw wants to play aggressive, but he's scared that he'll get ganked, right? So anytime you're able to like ping or spot out where the enemy jungle is, it kind of helps all three of your lanes play like correctly. Your top lane will play more safe, and your bot lane will play more aggressively. Um, okay.
At this point,
Mhm.
just so I could see that the Garen was not in a good spot, so I was thinking that maybe I could help him a bit, even though I knew I wouldn't get the flash or a kill. But is that okay? Because people told me I was just losing my time.
Mhm. I think if Garen stayed, let's say because Garen based on TP, because here he was 1 HP, right? I
Mm.
think if Garen stayed, let's say Garen is right here with his 10% HP, I think your idea is not terrible. Like your idea is like, oh, he's really low. I might need to help him. Mordekaiser might play to dive him, or I need to help him like break the freeze or whatever. But in this case, because Garen based and TP'd, he's actually completely fine. Because when he comes, if anything, actually, when Garen based and TP's here, Garen actually has an advantage because Mordekaiser hasn't based yet. So Mordekaiser has just the starting items, which is like D shield, right?
Mm.
But Garen based bought probably a longsword or bought a boots. He bought something, right? And then how he TP'd. So now they're both full HP to full HP, but Garen has an item and Mordekaiser doesn't. So Garen's actually completely fine here. Um,
Okay, I see.
so I would agree with whoever told you it is kind of just wasting time because You got a nice little chunk. But if it was one of those things where your camp isn't up right now, like the camp is down, it respawns in 20 seconds, and we have free time, then why not, right? But because our camp is down, I mean, sorry, it's up. It's up. Anytime you do something in jungle, you're always sacrificing something. Nothing's for free, right? So in this case, if your camp is down, then going for the gank is fine. It's free because you're not losing anything. But here, because it's up, you're simply going to be slower on your clear. So anytime we're delaying our clear or skipping camps or anything that doesn't involve farming, it better be like we're getting something very sizable. Like we're getting a flash, or we're getting a kill, or we're getting like a very, very big chunk, which allows Garen to now win his lane, you know? But I wouldn't classify that as a big enough advantage to skip our camps for. Okay. As we clear down. Anytime you have two smite charges, this is really common for jungle players when they start off. Anytime you have two smite charges, it's always just you should always just use one of them because it doesn't charge up to 3 or 4. It only stacks up to twice. So once you use anytime you have two charges, just use one of them. So your second charge will start recharging, and obviously you'll kill the camp faster because it's 600 free damage, right? Um, so either on Wolf or on Gromp, you could have used smite. Actually, you did use it here. That's good. Okay, let me see. Amumu is ganking mid. Amumu dies. So once Amumu dies here, I think if you want to start dragging, that's completely fine. Um, it's kind of, I know maybe you didn't notice, but yeah, Amumu ganks mid right here, and then he just goes into the tower and dies. The number one thing new players have, and not even new players, every single jungle player has this problem, even up to challenger, and even pro players, is not looking at the map enough. Jungle is considered OP or like a strong role because it's the only role in the game that could affect all three lanes, right? Like an AD carry can't roam top lane, a top laner can't roam bot, right? Jungle can obviously hit at all three lanes, so that means it's vital that junglers are constantly looking at the map at every like second of the game. You know, even when you're farming camps, because when you're farming camp like this doesn't take much effort because you're just killing with autos. You can literally right click it, and then you could look mid, you could look top, you could look bot, just you could have a third eye just staring at the minimap. Anytime you see an icon, go here. You should realize, oh shit, Moon's ganking mid, right? Um, so it just map awareness is like the number one most important thing for junglers. Because right here, I think I'm not sure if you noticed it or not, but I think if you would have noticed that Amumu died mid, and that's their jungler, they have no smite now, then we would just instantly pull the dragon with the thought process of the jungle is dead, I'm not, um, so no one can like smite the camp away. No one can like smite the dragon away from me, right? If we looked mid as well, I don't know for sure because we didn't look, but I would assume that Yon's also low HP because Yon just dove with a Mumu. So if Yon's low, he can't come. Mumu's dead, so he can't come. So the only people that can come is their bot lane, and they probably have no idea you're even on the dragon, right? So I would say this is probably a free opportunity. This entire time we're walking here, warding here, standing here. This entire time we could just be hitting dragon for free, right? Um, make sense?
Yep, it does.
Okay. Not a terrible gank. We got a flash. The only concern with starting Dragon now is, for example, now Moo has respawn. So technically, Moo respawn, and he could just run straight back here. And it's not like instead of it just being a guaranteed Dragon, now it could be a flip. If Moo will come, maybe he could steal it, maybe he doesn't. Who knows? It just anytime you could get something guaranteed compared to risking it, it's gonna be scarier. And I would consider this as just a bigger risk, you know. But we get it. Nice base. Go to our top camps. Looks good. Mid died. I think if your mid doesn't have TP, it's completely fine to stay for this next wave. Um, as a jungler, waves are like it's like crack because a camp is only like I think 80 gold per camp. Um, well, a full wave is like 106, I think. But the idea is also that the wave is gonna die to tower, but the camp will always be there. So if you have a choice to kill a wave and then kill a camp, it's always better than killing a camp because the wave is just dying to tower. Because here, your minute is there for 6 seconds. You should press tab, check if he has TP. If he has TP, then just go for the camp because he'll TP back in. In this case, Galio doesn't have TP, so an entire minion wave is just dying to mid tower, which is just free gold and free XP just dying to nothing. And on top of that, Yon has an opportunity to hit plates, right? So by being there, we're denying plates. Not a big deal though. Okay, we see Yon going. We come counter gank.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. What's
No,
going to happen? Yeah. I forgot that Yone has this thing.
yeah, it's this fine. This is what I mean by like the thing I said level 1. How like if you just played against, you probably only played against Yon like 3 or 4 times, but if you played against Yon 50 times, you would have known. Oh, he goes back to his E, so I shouldn't ult, right? And that has nothing to do with you being bad or anything. That just you haven't played in the League of Legends games, you know.
At this point, should I just stay? I think I stayed and I died, but
Let's
I
see.
don't know if I should have stayed and just go back to my things.
Sorry about that. I think let's keep watching. I think at this point, I think this is actually correct because you don't want to stand here because then if they like leave, then now you're super far from your camp, right? And you don't want to stand like above there because if they start fighting, now you're too far to join back into the fight. So I actually think this is like the perfect place to stand. And you could just stand here for like 5 to 8 seconds, and then just read the room. If you think these guys are gonna keep fighting, then boom, go back to the fight. And if you think that the fight's done, they're gonna back up, then go with Torgrom. So I actually think just staying in limbo here is actually perfect. And then we just like, but then just constantly watch to see what they're doing. For example, boom, Leona eat in. All right, let's start walking. That doesn't mean commit to the fight no matter what. Flash E in. If you start walking and you see that this guy's just dead and the fight looks bad, then it's fine, just leave. But in this case, you have to play like adaptive, if that makes sense, right? So we see Leona E in, so we start walking back. Perfect. So a couple of things here. So um, as a jungler, anytime you gank a lane to burn a flash, that has to be like ingrained in your brain. This champion has no flash for the next 5 minutes, right? Um, Especially if you're playing a champ like Diana, who's like I would say specializes in punishing immobile champions because you have 2 dashes, you have an ult that CCs and slows, um, and so anytime you see a champion that's immobile, Ashe, Sivir, Xerath, basically any champ that doesn't have a dash or speed up, anytime these champions use their flash, they have nothing. They have no way to get out of your ult. They have no way to dodge your E. They are just fucked, right? So earlier, if we go back like 2 minutes ago, you burned Ashe's flash. I would have it in my head now that okay, Ashe has no flash for the next 5 minutes. If you don't want to time it exactly, that's fine. I know it's a lot of work, but you have like a general idea of how long 5 minutes is in the game. Um, I know that. So if I'm you and I know that Ashe has no flash here, and I know that she's obviously super low, I don't have to start with Q. I always call this. Actually, you wouldn't get the term because you're new. I always call this like Diana syndrome. Is Diana players they always want a Q before Eing, which makes sense because when you hit someone with your Q, your E is free, right? But a lot of times, if it's one of those things beggars can't be choosers. If you're not able to guarantee your Q because they're super far and they could just walk back and dodge it, a lot of times it's better to just start with your E. Because the idea is you'll just dash. You won't get the refund dash, but it's fine. You'll just dash forward, and from this guy's HP, you're just gonna kill him with E, W, Q, and another bright side of starting with E is your Q is your highest damage ability, right? Because that's the ability we're maxing. So by Eing melee range into them, your Q is guaranteed. Because if they're there and you're here and you're literally on top of their body, it's basically impossible to miss your Q, right? And again, in this case, we know Ashe has no flash. We know she has no dash. She has no speed up. Like she's just an immobile champion with no flash. If we just start the fight by just Eing her, and then Q W on her forehead, smite, auto attack, she'll just die. So in this case, I think you just spam me. Don't have to Q. Because you see how this is a perfect example. You miss Q, you flash E, and now from this HP, your Q would have killed her, right? But it's down. So you flash E, auto Q, everything you did after the flash E was perfect. You autoed, you W'd, you did everything. You just your Q is simply down. So if you just did flash E, and everything here you did is the same auto W, but then you just queued right now, which is as from this range again impossible to miss. Boom, free kill. You get triumph, and you start hitting this guy. So I think so to recap, I think sitting in this bush is perfect. You're you're at the halfway point of halfway to your camps. And you're also halfway to the fight. So I think sitting here is perfect. I think you see your support go back in. So you follow perfect. I think the big mistake here was if you're not able if this guy was for example this HP like full, then you're right. You have to QE because he has so much HP that you can't kill him with just one set of like rotation. You have to get multiple rotations of damage, right? You have to get multiple Qs, multiple Es, multiple Ws. But when this person's this low, then all you need is one rotation, just one Q, one W, one E, and he'll die, right? So I think here you just E or flash E, WQ. That guy will die. He actually still died, but you took a tower shot. I think it ends up going. Still looks like, and then yeah, I'd say this is still better. You guys got 2 kills, you only lost 1. But obviously, if you didn't take the tower shot, you would have lived, and then it would have been really, really good, right? But everything makes sense.
Yes.
Yeah. And then
Thank you.
obviously, and then I think if you didn't die, maybe your teammates don't die. Because another thing about League is League is a crazy, crazy domino effect game. One small mistake can lead into other mistakes because these guys lived with 1 HP, and if you were alive and you could help your teammates, maybe they wouldn't die, or maybe a Mumu would be scared to go in because he's like, oh shit, Diana's still alive. It's 4v2. I'm too scared to go in, you know. Okay, let's look. We're looking top lane.
I died.
Yeah. Try
But afterwards, I got help from friends.
Mhm.
Like, apparently, I should dodge at least the first Q and E of Mordekaiser,
Mhm.
or else I just will die no matter what.
Yeah, I'd say another thing is right when you scan this ult, you could just run here because even when you're in Mordekaiser ult, the tower is still alive. So if he stands
But
here to hit you, the tower will actually hit him. There's
I thought that's because I was told that even the wards cannot go into Mordekaiser's ult, but the towers are okay.
yeah, unless I'm very mistaken and something's changed, I'm like
Yeah, it works. He gets tower
yeah,
aggro.
yeah,
And you can press
Okay.
R and pull him into your turret as well.
yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, go to tower. And another thing is even if you're gonna die, um, 2 things. So when Mordekaiser leaves this ult, he's gonna be half HP, right? And your Garen, before you went in, you saw your Garen was full HP, correct? So it's very simple. Like, obviously you're still doing damage to him, so he's gonna be like a quarter HP. Garen's full HP. So when Mordekaiser leaves this ult, once he kills you, he's gonna lose it 1v1 versus Garen because he's lower HP, and he's gonna wanna run to his base, which is this direction, right? He's gonna run to his tower to try to live. So even if you're gonna die, I think it's fine to accept your death and try to die here, as far away from his base as possible. Because then the difference is if you die here, he could just walk this way. But if he dies here, he has to walk so much longer, and it gives your Garen so much extra time to kill him, right? So if you're gonna, it's one of those moments when you like realize, okay, I'm dead, I messed up. It's fine, but at the very least, try to die here. Because right now, see how
Okay.
close to Mordekaiser is? Because he could, now it's like, if he's not here, there's no chance he lives. I think he still dies, but you get the idea. Um, makes it, guarantees that he dies even better. But anyways, I think 1 for 1's fine. Now it's time to full clear down. Mid died again. Mid's kind of venting. Nothing we can do. Okay. Nice. And then pull dragon. No.
I messed up this one.
Oh, let's see.
I thought that the bots had prior, but when I actually looked at the wave, I realized that I didn't.
You actually did have, no, because it's fine, because when you're pulling this dragon, anytime you pull an objective in League, I always say you're always pull based off of an advantage. Advantage could be any advantage. It could be a level advantage, an item advantage, an HP advantage. The most simple and common advantage to use is a number advantage, meaning if there's a fight here, we have 4 members, Galio, Kog, Leona, Diana, and they have 3 members, Ashe, I forget who the support, and the jungle. So if there's a fight, it's a 4v3, we have 1 extra member than they do, it should be a winning fight. So in this case, I think pulling dragon is actually great. We just need to ping better, because again, the idea is Galio should come with us, and he should stand here with us and hit it with us. And if they want to come fight, we're gonna win the fight. It's a 4v3. We simply have more members than they have, right? But the problem here is we pull a dragon, which is good, but our Galio never comes. He stays mid, right? If our Galio came, let's say Galio's here right now. He's just here hitting dragon with us, and then Mumu comes. Perfect. This is a 4v3 fight. Look, their Yona's still dead for 7 seconds, right? But this Galio has no idea what's going on. I don't know if he realizes you're on dragon. Maybe he doesn't care. I have no idea. But if Galio's here right now, this is actually a great fight. But if Galio's not here, this is now a 3v3, so we're even numbers. But technically, they have the advantage because you don't have your ult. So now it's a 3v3, but Amumu has ult and you don't, right? So they have the advantage. So I'd say this is not. I don't think you did anything wrong here. I think the only mistake you did is you have to spam ping Galio or type Galio, please come, dragon, target ping the dragon, or throw a flag assistance ping, whatever whatever way of communication you want to do. And then if you see Galio doesn't come, refuses to come, he's playing /mute all, and you see Mumu comes, then you just have to leave because now we're playing a 3v3, which again we've already established is losing because you have no ult. Make sense? So I think the idea of pulling this dragon is very correct. It's just the execution on it. Because even though yes, their Balian's coming first, your Balian's gonna follow. It's not like their Balian is gonna come and your Balian will never come. But they might be first by like 2 seconds, but that doesn't matter because as long as you guys don't get one shot in those 2 seconds, then this guy comes, the Balian comes, and then like boom, again we'll just wipe them 4v3. So. Because you see, boom, their Balian has prio, but your Balian's here too now. So now we should fight. But our Galio's just not here. So anytime you have an advantage, recognize like what that advantage is, and then try to play for it. In this case, I'd realize, okay, my advantage is my mid's alive, their mid's dead. How do I use that advantage? That I need to force a play off of my mid laner, like with him involved. In this case, Galio was not involved until you died. So like Galio came as you died, so instead of a 4v3, it ended up being a 2v2, and now it's a 3v3, So another thing here I would say is when you watch yourself die here, where did you die to? And that sounds like a funny question, but try to humor me.
To my root and then to stun from a member.
Yeah, you got CC locked. You could not move. You got rooted, and then stunned, and then stunned again. You actually could not move this entire time. And if we look at their champions, I see AP champion, AP champion, AP champion. So they have 3 AP champions, and they have champs that make it so you literally cannot move. C's hard CC, hard CC, hard CC. Even Ashe with her ult is hard CC, right? So anytime I die like this, yeah, I would die like this and be like, holy fuck, I could not move. I never want that to happen to me again, And it's not like you don't have to realize. It's also one of those things where in League, anytime like people have a majority AP or AD, we're probably gonna go boots for that. So if any team has 4 AD champs, 1 AP champ, you're probably gonna go Tab Eyes. If a team has 3 AP, 2 AD, then you're probably gonna go Mercs. I'd say it's unless you're like super fed, like you're like 5-0, super, snowballing. Enemy team is low damage. It's I think pretty rare we would go Sorks. It depends on the champion you're playing. Some champs like Karthus will almost always go Sorks, but Diana's more of a bruiser AP champ, if that makes sense.
If I got the electrocute runes, would I still go?
No, if you no electrocute, you'd go Sorks because so yeah, with electrocute, there's different builds you go Diana. There's glass cannon, which is just full damage, 0 survivability, 0 tankiness. And if you go glass cannon, that's usually with electrocute. In that case, I would go Sorks. I would just go like Shadow Flame second, Death Cap third, just full damage. In that case, I agree with you. You just go full Sorks. Okay. But he flashed. I think the idea. This is a good example of. Remember how earlier I said, oh, you don't have to always QE. You could just E. This is a perfect example of just E ult. Because if he didn't flash it here, he would die. Because he would get pulled in, and then he'd get Galio taunted, and then he would just die. So this is even though he didn't die, I think that's a good E ult. Flash your ult's almost always worth because flash is a 5-minute cooldown, while your ult's only a 1-minute cooldown. This is a bad fight, yeah. Good. Yeah, these are good pings. This is what you should know with Dragon. You realize, okay, they have numbers advantage. They have 3 people topside. Yone, Mumu, or Kaiser will only have 2. Plus, I have no ult, and Diana's pretty worthless without her ult. So this is like these spam pings, caution, danger, not just inting in is like good. I know this guy's dying, but there's nothing we can do to save him. So I think those are. I think a lot of times people would just like fight there, and then you would just die with Galio, and it'd be like really depressing. So that was good discipline.
I think the rest of the game is just defending the bot side. I don't remember anything else from that, and I don't know what else I could have done either.
Yeah, this game turned into a mess. So there's a thing coaches say, where coaches like to say that every game is winnable, which is true in theory, but it's not always guaranteed. Like I'd say this game, I think you did plenty of mistakes, but there are a lot of things that were out of your control. Amumu didn't gank top once, you ganked top twice. Your top laner is still down 60 CS. I think your mid laner got solo killed 4 times as well. So I don't think this game was your fault in theory. I think there's things we could have done that maybe could have changed the outcome. For example, like again, I said it earlier, jungle is like a really disgustingly snowball like domino effect role. So I'm not saying this is what happened, but I'm just gonna throw out a fantasy scenario that if you play this game 1,000 times could have affected the game. So something as small and simple as ganking here and skipping our camp. So our Krug just spawned right now. So I'm gonna count down how late we are on the Krug. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
That's
7,
a bit painful.
8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. It looks like it's gonna be like 22 seconds, right? And now so that means we would have finished our full clear 22 seconds faster. Okay, so instead of being Raptors right now, we'd be on our Wolves. And now instead of being on our Wolves, we'd start our Gromp right now as it spawns. And now instead of being on Gromp, we'd already be finished with Gromp, and we'd be in River right now. So we'd be like here right now, right? And now we're in River, and we notice Amumu is ganking mid. And you know what we'd be able to do? We'd be able to counter gank. So if Amumu is ganking Galio, and Amumu queues in, we're right behind the Amumu, and we're following him. And remember, in this gank, Amumu died, but so did Galio, right? So I want to imagine a world. Again, we didn't see the gank, so I don't know for sure if you could have affected it. But I want to imagine if you're here and Mumu's ganking and you're right behind him, like hiding here, and you follow him. I think there's a really realistic world where you're gonna kill Mumu and Yone and save Galio's life. I think that's like a very realistic world,
Okay.
right? Now, boom! Instead of Yone starting the game with a kill and snowballing, and he ends up solo killing Galio like 5 times this game, right? Maybe Yone never getting this advantage and never getting this early lead, he never would have solo killed Galio. He never would have been able to start the snowball, start the domino effect, right? And it's all based off something as small as being 20 seconds late to our Krug, you know? And that's what I mean by it's like in this game, again, I don't think you're the reason your team lost, but there's so many small things that stack up on each other that we could have possibly like affected, you know, or stopped it from happening. Does that make sense?
And speaking of the domino effects,
Mhm.
I realized after the game that at the beginning my bot was winning, and I don't know if I should have done something in particular to help them even more. But when I see the thing, I'm not sure if I had any timing to gank them, but maybe because I lost too much time for my top actually.
Yeah, that is a domino effect because that's a good I'll look for right now to see if you could have affected them, but that's like a perfect example of the longer we take sitting topside, the slower we're gonna be to help bot side, right? But I'll look right now. This is obviously this was already an obvious problem. We ulted nothing. If we had another thing here is I know we were going for the Yone, but it's never. I always say like be super anal about remembering summoners. Like in my head, every time I leave base, I'm always thinking who's flashes down, who flashes up. I know, okay, Ashe's flashes down. Who do I want to use my first ult on this game? It's probably on the Ashe, because even I know this thingy happened, it's fine, but even with not affecting this thing, Yone has an ult that's a dash, a Q that's a dash, an E that's a dash, and flash up. So he literally has like 4 different ways of avoiding our ult or not dying. Ashe has nothing. No flash, no dashes, no mobility. Anytime you could just ignore Yone and just flash E ult, he dies no matter what. There's nothing Ashe at half HP can do to avoid your flash E ult. It's like impossible. He could be the best player in the world, he cannot avoid it, right?
Yeah.
But so it's not about free balling. It's not about right now thinking like, oh shit, let me ignore Yone and do that. It's this idea of having a priority target should have been created as we're in base leaving the fountain. While we're walking to our Krugs, we're walking to our red buff, we're walking to wherever, we think to ourselves, okay, what's my next plan? What's my next goal? Who's my next target? Okay, Yone has everything up. Mordekaiser. I can't gank top because if I gank top, Mordekaiser will just ult me. I can't gank mid because this guy's fed, and again he has 4 different ways of dodging my most important ability, which is my ult. I can't really invade a Mumu because he's a Mumu. But Ashe is no flash and immobile, so it should already be in our head minutes ago that is my target. That's who I'm using my first ult of the game on. That's who I care about, you know. And then even though this mistake was unfortunate, there's a world where we won't even think about using important spells on Yone because we've already established it has to be on the Ashe. That guy's guaranteed. Yone is not guaranteed. Does that make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
And then obviously this fight not being bad. It was 2 for 1, but this could have affected bot lane as well if we played it slightly better. And then let's see if we had another. And then this is a good example as well. Is like with what you said, we can still affect. Ashe's flash is still down, I'm pretty sure, and our ult's back up. So if we just same as before, how we were like 20 seconds late to our Krug. If we're just on our Krugs right now, and we're doing Krugs, Raptors, Wolves, Blue Gromp, we can gank bot lane in like 55 seconds, you know? Because this takes like 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 10 seconds, 40 seconds of all our camps, and then like 15 seconds of walking time, you know? So we can be back in bot lane 1 minute from now exactly, and same plan as before, just E-ult Ashe, you know? But instead when we die here, instead of being in bot lane a minute from now, we're dead for 20 seconds, and then it's gonna take 20 seconds to walk to Krugs, and it also took like 10 seconds to walk from here to here. So those this death is like we're now 50 seconds slower to bot lane. That's how you should think about it, right? So normally, if we just did Krugs right now, we'd be on Wolves right now. We're on Wolf Camp right now, boom, right? And now imagine we're on Wolf Camp, and now we'd be on Blue, and now we'd be on, and then we're on Blue right now, and we notice bot lane's fighting. If you see Leona's literally under tower, we'd skip our Gromp and just run bot lane right now. And this is our opportunity to help bot lane. Bot lane is literally diving them under tower, and our bot lane got double killed. But again, another fantasy land, we didn't gank top, we weren't slow on our camps, we are bot side. As we're bot side, we see bots fighting, boom, we come and help them out. We double kill their bot lane, maybe we save Kog'Maw's life, we hit the bot tower and hit some plates. And now, boom, we have a fed Kog'Maw. You're also fed yourself because you're still getting gold from these kills and assists. And their Ashe is super behind. Instead, their Ashe actually gets a double kill, and their bot lane actually kills our bot lane. But I think there's a very realistic world where you could have prevented all of that, right? And it just goes, again, back to wasting time and looking for like non-guaranteed ganks. Mid's not guaranteed, he has 4 dashes. Top's not guaranteed because Mordekaiser could always ult us and make his individual 1v1. Ashe is the guaranteed gank. Ashe is the easy gank, right? Another way to look at it is lanes that have good setup. Garen has no setup. He has no CC. Silence doesn't really count. He has no CC. He has no slows. He has no way to enable our champion to go in, right? Galio actually has a lot of setup. He has a taunt and an E. But again, we've already established Yone has literally 4 different dashes. Meanwhile, Leona has her E, which is her root, Q, which is a stun, and ult, which is a stun. So she has 3 different forms of CC. And Ashe has no mobility. Even Mel has no mobility. Mel also has no dashes, no speed up. So their bot lane is playing double mobile. Ashe, Mel, no. And we have a support that gives us Omega setup. So when I paint it like this, it should really feel like obvious. Never gank top, never gank mid, unless you see Yone use all 4 of his dashes. Mid's pretty hard. And bot is just free low, right? So our mentality should be fuck top, bot lane. But we gank top twice this game. And we've also ganked bot twice, but it should be like instead of bot twice, top twice, it should be top 0, mid 0, bot 4, right? And I think every time you gank Ashe, it should either be a kill or a flash, and you'll stack the dragons, and you'll get the bot tower, and at least now you have a win condition. My Kog'Maw's fed, play for Kog'Maw. Does that make sense? Because I think I agree with you. Once you get to this point of the game, there's nothing really to watch because we're just super behind and we're just perma defending, and it's almost impossible to get the ball rolling and to get a lead because we're just playing on the back foot. So at this point in the game, I think the game's pretty over. But any other questions or anything I missed you want to look at?
No, it's okay. You already given me what I need to improve on. So it's perfect. Thank you.